What's up guys, Midnight Strike back here again for another review, and today we're going to discuss a band entitled Devil You Know, or The Devil You Don't Know, as this is their first album, The Beauty of Destruction. But you may know the devil behind the vocals. It is in fact Howard Jones of Killswitch Engage fame. You know, the guy who brought us My Curse, The End of Heartache, and Rose of Sharon, among other things, A Bid Farewell, pretty much everything on the End of Heartache and Daylight Dies albums. And unfortunately, of course, the mediocre KSEO 9, which I actually thought this album was going to be based around, seeing, you know, the current state of Howard Jones's vocals. So, to get into it, I could not be any more wrong. The Beauty of Destruction is just that. It is beautiful destruction at its finest. This is probably the most aggressive album we've seen from anything, you know, metalcore since, well, Alive or Just Breathing. I mean, this is very rooted in just really gritty, aggressive, and raw production. It's just like Alive or Just Breathing. That's what it really reminds me of, and it harkens me back to the days when metalcore was a little bit more on the edgy and thrashy and aggressive side versus what we're seeing now from bands like, say, All That Remains. Now, to put this into perspective, it does not, for me, top Disarm the Descent. Not that it was any comparison at all. They're both good bands, they're both good singers, they're both good vocalists. Of course, they're going to have killer albums. Now, I thought that Howard Jones was actually deteriorating in his vocals, but I couldn't actually be more wrong. He actually regained his vocal ability a little bit on this album. Yes, he is still using a little bit of the synthesizers and the vocal effects, but, I mean, while his vocals aren't necessarily back up to, say, End of Heartache as Daylight Dies level, they are a force to be reckoned with. Now, that's not to forget all of the, other band members, like the guitarist from All Shall Perish, and I think it was like Roy Lev Ali. I have no idea how to pronounce his name. I'm sorry. I just got into this band because of Howard Jones, but I don't want to single him out as being the only good thing about this band, as this band, Devil You Know, is a very, very heavy and thrashy and aggressive style band. Now, there are two songs that I would like, well, actually 3 songs that I would like to single out for being a little bit more on the softer side, while containing a lot of the aggression from the previous songs. Those 3 songs are For the Dead and Broken, It's Over, and As Bright as the Darkness. Now, It's Over, in my opinion, is the best out of these 3 because it still contains a little bit of the edge and aggression. But for the Dead and Broken, it just seems like it's trying to be heavy and soft at the same time, and it really just doesn't work too well. And As Bright as the Darkness, just the vocals, it sounds like Howard Jones is singing underwater. And just the way the guitar is going and the drum line, it just seems too straightforward, I suppose, and it just loses your interest, or lost my interest anyways, very, very quickly, and it wasn't necessarily a good way to close off the album. With that being said, though, the track before it, Shut It Down, we've all heard the demo, but this time it begins with a scream of this Calling-esque, and it's very, very edgy, very heavy, very aggressive, even more so than the last time you heard it. This is also another one of my favorite tracks on the album. So, let's go back up to A New Beginning, the first track on the album, our introduction in which the album kicks off with, and this is by far my favorite song. It begins with the chanting, hey, 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 you know, like fist bumping, and it's just, it gets you pumped, it gets you in the mood to just frickin' punch something. It's amazing. Just the energy put into this song just really just makes me want to listen to it over and over again and just headbang. I was listening to this while trying to do my homework. Not exactly a good way to get into it. I mean, it's a very, very good song. Didn't really get a lot of homework done. The vocals are perfect, the screaming, the aggression, everything is there, except for the guitar solos, but this song really doesn't need guitar solos. I mean, Killswitch Engage did just fine without guitar solos, and All Shall Perish, you know, I don't really know much about them. I might actually check them out after this, because the guitar work on this album is phenomenal, and that's where the guitarist came from, or at least one of the guitarists. So, this song, All Shall Perish, A New Beginning, like I said, very thrashy, very aggressive, and it keeps the same consistent riff over and over again a little bit, and the chorus is really good, really well defined, excellent song. Same with My Own. This one is another Alive or Just Breathing track. Guitar work is awesome, and the lyrics actually shine brighter than a lot of things on this album. with the exception of 7 Years Alone, which is my favorite song on the album lyrically. So the next song, Embracing the Torture, begins with some really intricate guitar work and technicalities and kind of streamlines on its way through the song itself. It's a very aggressive song. Really love the screaming vocals in this, the uncleans, and just one of my favorite tracks overall. For the Dead and Broken, like I said, it's too slow. It really contrasts with everything that goes on with the rest of the album. And it's like, it's not necessarily that it's slow or soft that really gets to me. It's the fact that it just doesn't retain my attention at all. It just kind of loses me. It's too monotone, I suppose. I mean, I could see how maybe some people would get into it because of maybe the lyrics, because the lyrics are very well crafted. But when it comes down to the song structure itself, it's just not all there. So I can definitely see how some people would like it, but I personally do not. So the next one is 7 Years Alone. It's about a man who had just received a prison sentence and is just really aggressive, really angry at the world, and it's a really good song. This was the lead single of the album, and initially I was disappointed because I thought Howard Jones didn't really have, what it took for the vocal part, but when I listened to it a bit more, it really hit me. This is a heavy, melodic, and Killswitch Engage-like song, and it's a really good one at that, so it kind of grew on me after a while. So when it comes down to it, I mean, this was a good choice for a single, and it definitely has the strongest lyrics on the album. So the next one, It's Over. This one is a softer one, but it still retains a lot of the aggression, and it kind of builds up. It's very dark and dreary. And I would assume that this one is about a relationship and a person breaking up with their ex-lover, or soon-to-be ex-lover, if you want to say that. A Mind Insane. This one is a very good one. Really like the guitar work and the structure overall. There's a lot of decent screams in it as well. So, Crawl from the Dark, kind of the same story. Really like the opener. It's really technical and just really raw and aggressive and gritty, much like all the other tracks on the album, save 3 songs. So, The Killer, another one. Awesome guitar solo. This one has the best guitar work out of the entire album, or the best lead guitar work, I should say, because of the solo. The solo is just really, it really pops out, catches your attention, and is really appealing to the ear. The screams are all there. The intro, the song structure is just perfect. I love this song. Not my favorite next to A New Beginning, but when it comes down to the actual lead guitar work, I love that solo. It's just really energetic and really raw and aggressive, and definitely captures what metalcore is all about. The next one is I Am Nothing. Kind of the same story, not as much solos or not as much intricate guitar work, but then again, every single song can't have a unique solo or guitar solo like The Killer. So it's a very good song, very aggressive as well. Shut It Down. This one we actually heard of with a demo, and it's a lot different. It's much like back in 2013 with No End in Sight. They released a demo. They leaked a demo. I mean, I can't... Actually, that was in 2012, but I heard it in 2013 because Disarm the Descent came out in 2013. But No End in Sight, I believe the band leaked a demo of No End in Sight just to kind of gauge where the band was going, where they were coming from, where they were trying to head with Disarm the Descent. And there was a lot of differences, especially with the added kind of more so like talking vocals and screaming a little bit, and it was a little bit more aggressive in the final product, the final production of the song, and that is much similar or much the same here in this case with Shut It Down. They add a scream, much like the scream found in the beginning of This Calling. It's very aggressive. The vocals are fine-tuned pretty much down to a science. I love it. This is one of my favorite songs on the album, probably my second or third favorite next to The Killer, My Own, and A New Beginning. I just love it. It's an awesome song. The next one is As Bright as the Darkness, and like I said, kind of a bad way to close off the album. It sounds like Howard is singing underwater. The guitar work is just kind of average, I suppose. I mean, I can't really say anything against it. There's nothing wrong with it, but it doesn't really pop out as much as it did on the previous songs, especially in The Killer. So, overall, I'm going to give this album a 9.7 out of 10. I really love it. It is the best thing that has been released all year thus far. And ironically, coming out at the same time, or at least similar to the same time as Disarm the Descent in 2013. So I don't know if they're trying to compete with each other, but guys, if you're watching this, Devil You Know, if you're watching this, do not try to compete with Killswitch Engage. You guys should be on good terms. You're both really good and awesome, upstanding bands, and I love you both for pretty much everything that you've done, save KSE09. So, with that, 9.7 out of 10, best thing released in 2014 so far. This is Midnight Strike 3625. Go buy this album when it comes out. Keep calm and rock on.